Today we're at Rowrah Kart Circuit, one of the toughest circuits in the UK. This was meant to be a simple test day ready for the Elite Karting Series, but it turned into something a lot more intense. Started at the back, fourth through the field, and we'll see where we come. All this in one of the most scenic spots in the country. In these races we're also joined by Karting with Josh, the Pit Lane Collective, and the Quick Finishes. Today's format was qualifying, race 1, race 2, going into the final, which what matters when you get the trophy. Quick heads up before we get into the racing. Since the racing was back to back, I didn't have enough time to charge the camera between heats, but I made sure we got the starts, so that's the most entertaining bit. So just while we're waiting for the racing to start, fun fact, about 60% of you watching right now aren't subscribed. So if you are enjoying the content, please make sure you consider subscribing and drop a like, as it really does help this channel grow. And if you want to see more behind the scenes stuff, I do post extras over on Instagram, so give that a follow too. Straight into race 1, and let me tell you, things didn't exactly go to plan. Apparently, not everyone paid attention to driver's briefing, so we were told to go when the red lights go out. So what happens next? I'm sure you can take a guess. So yeah, as you can see, that did not go to plan. We ended up giving Switchback some whiplash, and now we're at the back of the grid, so at least we can see how everybody else is doing in their race. In fact, let's take that back. I meant to do that for the content. So everyone gets through that first chicane, but make sure you stay tuned for the final when someone maybe doesn't, and that could be me. And then we go straight into a hairpin where everyone gets bunched up. We can see the person in the yellow greeny crash helmet. Dan seemed to have just got everybody trying to get around the outside there in between everybody. We have the Pit Lane Collective just to our right. He's seen us coming through. He must have had a really bad exit, and indeed there was a little bit of kart disparity here as well, but that's another place to try and make back up. So around the complex, got to make sure that you do use a little bit of curb. Now I've never been in these rental karts beforehand, and the last time I was at Rowrah was 2014 in a road tax where you have to go right over them curbs, so getting used to a different driving style and lines, and sometimes that is easier said than done, especially for the amount of laps I've done around here in a two-stroke. So we don't seem to be losing anything on that first lap. We can see Josh getting pushed right on the left there. Seems to be very shocked that was an interesting body expression he's trying to do. Simon makes his way through as well, a little bit forceful, and then we see a little bit of pile up on that chicane. God knows what on earth happened there, but that's some more spaces done for us. But I don't think we're still in our position of where we qualified. Now I'm actually in the exact same kart as I did qualifying in. Everyone did swap karts, but by chance my position just meant that I got the same one. But I do love the fact that most circuits are doing that, where everyone gets a chance in a different kart to make sure that you can't blame your equipment, and even if you do blame your equipment, at least you would have had a good one at least one time. Now coming into the complex is one of my favourite places to overtake, because there's plenty of space for them to actually see you coming, and also that you don't lose too much time actually doing the overtaking line either. Now we are trying to line an overtake up on Josh, but he's definitely not making it easy for us. I wasn't expecting the step off that curb there to be as bad as it was, which then put the car a little bit wide, which ruined my exit for the tight left, and apparently known as crash corner. But with Josh concentrating too much on what's happening behind him, it's put him offline to hopefully get the job done going around the chicane. But we didn't quite get it that time, but at least we know we do have the speed to get him at some point. Now you do have to avoid the big rocks on the track, which that crash beforehand must have dragged it back on the track. Now Josh outbroke himself there, and we managed to get the release out that hairpin, and there's another one done. So now we need to chase down Simon, which Simon was having an absolute fly at this one, right at the top of the pointy end of the field, and so is Freddie in front, and I can't remember who else in front of us right now, but there is a lot of fast lads doing this warm-up session ready for the EKS for the following weekend. So Karting with Josh was here, as mentioned. The Pit Lane Collective is going to do one off round at Rowrah as well, and a lot of the quick finishes, which I will leave the link for everyone's YouTube down below. Now the kart which I'm in now didn't actually feel too bad. It turned quite well, it just maybe lacked that little bit of oomph at top end. But let's take it through a lap of Rowrah. So first corner is a chicane, which you got to make sure that you avoid the curb going in. However, you were told you were allowed to run the curb on exit. Make sure that we use all the track going into a very tight hairpin here. Make sure that you brake late and use a bit of the runoff going onto the back hairpin. I say a bit, I was right on the edge of the track there. Again, into a very hard braking point to a right hand hairpin, making sure that you get your left wheels on that curb on the run down into the complex. Now the straight you can't get wrong, and if you do then there's something wrong. However, you've got to make sure that you line your braking point up here perfect, and since there's no one right behind, you can maybe open that corner, making sure that you get close to the centre curb and indeed the exit curb. Again, flat out left there, coming to a very fast right hand 90 degrees corner to crash bend, making sure that again you can use a lot of the runoff, making sure that you keep as much speed up. And then the last corner, again, making sure that you carry as much speed as you possibly can, use a lot of the track, and then cross the start and finish line. So that is a lap of Rowrah. What do you think of this track? Have you raced here before? Or is it even on your bucket list? Let me know in the comments. And now back to the action. We do seem to be catching up on brakes going into both the hairpins, so we can see Simon is in our sights, and then we can line this up perfectly. We might be able to get him going into the complex at the bottom. If it is your first time at Rowrah, getting these braking points right is the main key here, which I'm sure if anybody's watching this from the EKS, maybe I should put this video out the week afterward. Never mind. We'll try and get it out from the Friday beforehand, as we want everybody at the best to make it as fair as we possibly can. Now, we didn't catch Simon up as fast as we would like. As I mentioned, he has been flying. However, he did take a little bit too much curb on the chicane, and again he messes up crash corner, which gives us the opportunity just to keep him a little bit offline as we go into the actual chicane. So we try and pull alongside him to see if he can see us, see if he's going to give us the position. However, he does back in, although we were expecting him to try and make it a bit difficult for us. So head down. Now we have to get the person in the Lambo suit in front. Now, when I was driving around, I was conscious of exactly how long the battery was lasting on my camera, so I did try to turn it off when there was nothing happening. So skip forward a couple of laps, which I'm not sure exactly how many, but we did manage to catch up with the person with the Lamborghini suit. He is perfectly aware where I am, and we managed to get him going into the complex. Now, again, I do turn the camera off, mainly because my chain comes off on the next lap. So then we have to pull into the pits with one engine, and we do get a card swap. So we are currently last at this point, so we are just having a little bit of fun. Now we see Josh completely beached on the actual chicane, don't know how, but then we can see Ant in front of us with his sexy new Alpine Stars camouflage suit, so we only see a floating helmet. Now, this is Ant's first time around this track, and as the day progressed he was absolutely flying, so it's amazing just to see exactly how fast he was. I'm pretty sure he was knocking on the back bumper of me in the actual final, so really well done him. And to be honest, he's had a great weekend with I'll not put the results what happened with Wardenlaw just yet, because that'll be in the next video, but I'm sure you'll stay tuned for that. Now, nothing extra happens, so we will jump to the next race. So this is the start of race 2. So remember what I said in that first one, then we got told exactly how the race starts just before we went out in this race. So as you can imagine, we all should get the start right with the red lights going out, and then we go. So let's see what happens here. So yeah, same again. You can see the actual marshal put his hands up there going, what on earth's happening? So again, we're going to say that we did it for content, we just wanted to be last. So me and Simon absolutely had a mare in that one. So let's see if we can make some spaces back up. Now at Rowrah, you drive from the pit straight to your starting position without any time to actually test the feel of the car or warm any tyres up. So at least everyone is in the same boat, but as soon as I got going in this one, the car did feel good. We did see Josh, however, the person with the red suit and the white hat, get an absolute minter of a start and managed to get us, which rightly so, since we were practically stopped when we were meant to go. But we can see him down at the actual track. We can see Freddie maybe messed up his actual exit going out of the second hairpin, but at least we are right on the bumpers of everybody. Now we can see Carton with Josh just in front of Freddie. Freddie wanted to get some content, realised what on earth is he doing, and then waved, and then I don't know. But thank you very much, Freddie, for messing yourself up and giving us a little giggle as I rewatched this, and also that little bit of a tap to try and kill me going around Crash Bend. But thank you for saying sorry. I always appreciate a wave going around the track. Although I'm pretty sure you once said that there's someone else that waves and ends up crashing, so now you are that person that waves and ends up crashing. Now we're just seeing Carton with Josh nearly get the overtake going in the chicane. However, the person with the Lamborghini suit is maybe pushing him a little bit offline, which has allowed us to try to get around the outside. But going into the first hairpin, just was in the wrong position, so he's got that back. But we are on a flyer. We are wanting to get this position done ASAP. Now, I didn't actually tap him there. I just made sure he could see my nose in order to get past. So we are side by side, go down the straight now. We have lovely top end in this car, as we can see how much we're catching the person in the Lambo suit, and then we can see where we can get down the grid. Now, as mentioned with car disparity, you can see how much I catch up at the person with the Lambo suit going down to 90 degree. However, he might brake for that, I'm not too sure, but we are right on his bumper. So we want to make sure that we can line this up. I accidentally tapped his back end going into the last corner, but he's basically seen us and allowed us to get past. I did overshoot it a bit, which gave him a little bit on the inside. However, he just wanted to give us a position and to go forward. So thank you very much for that. If you are watching, drop a comment down below, because I need to give you a thanks. So now we need to catch the people in front. Now, this took longer to actually catch them up. This is around about 3-4 laps ahead, which means that this pack is actually pretty fast considering I felt like I had a really good card. But as you can see, they are in a little bit of a gaggle, so they are slowing each other a little bit down. Now, I am currently thinking that I need to make sure that I line the overtakes up quite well, making sure that I do it in a place where I don't lose any time, and make sure that they can't get the switch back on me as well to create a battle. I am currently thinking into the second hairpin, because I thought Ant was going to get the move there on the actual person with the red suit. However, he did have a little bit of a tap. He sees us coming through and just thought I can carve the way for him. So there's one done into the actual second hairpin, and again we want to make sure that we try and get space going into the complex at the bottom. Now, these two cars did get a bad exit, so we do get some wheels on the grass as we're trying to make a double overtake going into the complex, and we've managed to make that job done. Put them a little bit wide, so at least they can't get the switch back on me. Now, we do have the pit lane collective in this one. Now, we did have a good battle as we are trying to get far up this grid. Now, he was actually rapid in this race as well. From speaking to him afterwards, this is his first time here at this track, and he actually said it's his new favourite outdoor track, so it was nice to hear. And to be honest, no doubt it was his favourite, because he was absolutely flying through it. Now, a little bit of a tap did push him a little bit wide on that last corner, but at least he can jump into the slipstream, and then we can see exactly how far we can get through this next pack of cards. Now, we are currently sat in 5th place, which isn't too bad considering we definitely were last due to the start. We can see Josh has managed to get away considering he was behind me at the start of this one as well. We have someone that I'm not sure who it is in the red suit, so if you are watching, drop a comment down below of who you actually are, and then we can see switch back in front of him. Now, as mentioned, we do have some great top end here. We knew we were going to get him into the actual bottom complex, but exactly what I was saying beforehand, we wanted to make sure that we can make the move stick, but in this case we didn't, which also means that we lose a place back to the pit lane collective. However, he was no slouch, and he's got his eyes set on the person on the red suit, so let's see if we can follow him through, if anything. As we can see, he's actually away from us from the first couple of corners, so we need to try and latch onto his bumper as best we can. He managed to get that last corner absolutely perfect, and the run he gets onto the person in front is absolutely amazing, so we definitely weren't close enough to his bumper to follow him through on that one. But what happens next from this person in front, I didn't expect. He must have had a little bit of red mist and wanted to get his own back for that little bit of touch and go around the chicane, and then absolutely sent it to him on that first hairpin. However, I don't think it's done there, because he's going to want to get his own back, so he absolutely sends it going into the second hairpin, makes enough room for me to get alongside, and hopefully we can push him down the straight. Or in fact, if I line this up perfectly, I might just be able to get that overtake on him, as long as I make sure he pushes a little bit wide so he can't hold it round the outside, and there we go, job done. And now side set on switch back in front, so at least we can get 3rd position ready for the final. Quick jump to the next lap, where he has definitely seen as he goes that little bit defensive, so we want to make sure that we can put him a little bit offline again to get him. Now, we are lining up an overtake on this last corner, but he was absolutely prepared for it, didn't leave the door open, so we need to try and get a better run out than him going into chicane. Now, there isn't much time left of this race either, but we managed to get a good run out that last corner side by side, and there we go, we are down to 3rd place. Now, if we do look a little bit ahead, we can see Josh has managed to overtake Sean, but that has slowed him down a little bit, and it gives us that little bit of faith to see if we can make that extra position. Now, I do turn the camera off as we're going down the straight, and I forget to turn it back on. But basically, the pit lane collective comes out of nowhere, overtakes us, leaves us for dead, and we try and catch Sean in front. That is exactly how that race ended. Now be ready as soon as I cut to the next race, because it is lights are green and this is when all the actions happens. Now get ready for what happens in the chicane. We try and go on the inside of the pit lane. I managed to put a wheel on the curb. I thought I was going to die. Someone hit my back end. I panicked. You can see me absolutely say thank you to the person behind us, because they pushed me into the right direction. You can see us wipe the brow of my helmet, and there we go, brown pants moment out the way, and let's see if we can get this trophy. Now the actual trophy is down to 4th place today, so we are currently in 5th, and we want to see which trophy we can get. Now the person in the green helmet has absolutely gone. He is actually a junior, which I didn't realise, so he is that little bit lighter, but he managed to break the lap record, or the rental lap record, which amazing work for him. There's actually another driver behind us who is a junior who also broke the lap record. So if you're a junior and you're doing the AKS next weekend, you better watch out, because I think they've got it. And to be honest, Sean in front of us now, they did a session later on that day, he then broke that record by an extra second. So at least I'm glad that I'm not up against him in the AKS, or I definitely won't be lying in second where I am now. But we managed to get that move done. Now we have our eyes set on Josh in front, so let's see if we can get him soon enough and try and lack on the back end of the person in the green helmet. Now I think I was quite lucky again that I got this card. This was a card that Ant had the one prior, which had an amazing top end. It didn't turn left very good. It did bounce going around that first hairpin, which you just adjust your lines a little bit, but down the straight, which you're going to see going down the complex here, how much I catch on Josh, it was just out of this world. Now he didn't actually know how fast or how far I was coming from behind to get there, so he didn't even defend because he thought I was way back than I was. But there we go, head down, so we need to catch the car in front. Now being honest, the battery actually goes flat, so you don't see if I managed to overtake him. But what I can confirm, I did come second, so it wasn't all bad. We did get to take a pot home. But overall, we've done what we needed to do anyway, and that's get some practice ready for the EKS next weekend, which we want to make sure that we get a good result, because we are currently second in that championship. But let's see when we put that video out. But thank you very much for watching. If you've made it to the video this far, please do consider subscribing and leaving a like, as it certainly does help my channel grow, and I'll see you on the track next time.